Hello and welcome to the road to the G20. Over the past few weeks, we have looked at financial and political events that have affected the globe. From US tariffs to the conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine, global stability still needs to be achieved. The G20 will meet in South Africa in November with a major chance to tackle some of these big and major problems. But conflict is not the only pressing global issue. Climate change is one of the many agenda items that needs urgent attention. And Europe has been discussing ways to combat this. Germany has been at the forefront of discussions within the G20 task groups after hosting the summit in 2017. Well, joining us to discuss what can be achieved at the summit in November is German Ambassador Andreas Pescke. Ambassador, welcome to Business Day TV.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Right, the G20, it's a few months away. What would Germany like to see come November?
Well, actually, we are very much looking forward to the summit in November. I think it's a historic moment. We must not forget it's the first time the G20 is hosted on the African continent. So that's really an important moment. Unfortunately, it takes place in very difficult geopolitical circumstances. But we still hope that we get a strong impetus in many of the fields you have mentioned, climate change, economic ties. But another important issue is, of course, the whole economic area of the cooperation between the members of the G20 and others. And here, I think South Africa rightly prioritizes questions like financing development, cost of capital for developing countries, for countries of the global south. So these are important topics, and here we wholeheartedly support the South African agenda, and we hope that we're going to see progress at the summit.
Let's break down some of those issues. You spoke about conflict as well. We're looking at Ukraine, and you have Germany, and one of your nearby neighbors is Ukraine. How do you see that playing out? You've got the US now trying to negotiate some sort of a peace. Do you see any light on the horizon?
Well, I think all of us would very much wish for peace in that conflict, Russia's war against Ukraine. So we're going to have the summit. We have had a conversation between European leaders with the Ukrainian leader, and then also President Trump ahead of the summit he's going to have with President Putin. So I think if this summit is a push, is a step on the way towards peace, that will be very welcome. But it's, as we see it, very difficult to find a compromise, because you have Russian troops on Ukrainian soil. You have a violation of the UN Charter and international rules. So I think there are many issues to be dealt with. But of course, most of all, what people want is peace and an end to this war.
Yeah, because you have Gaza as well. There's a whole other issue there as well. Israel coming under a lot of criticism after what's happened in the Middle East. I would think, though, Germany would play a really good role in also finding that peace as well.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, the world is currently riddled with conflicts. We have the war of Russia against Ukraine. We have Middle East. We have a number of conflicts in Africa. If you look at Sudan, Congo, Eastern Congo. Yeah, on the Middle East, of course, as we see, the situation in Gaza is becoming more and more untenable. And we think that there really needs to be a strong push towards a solution. For us, the solution to this conflict ultimately is a two-state solution with the state of Israel able to live in security and the state of Palestine being able to develop itself. We are still quite some way away from this solution. But we think that we need to walk towards it, and that's our main guideline. Apart from, trying as much as we can the people in Gaza with humanitarian assistance.
Right, let's move away from conflict then and go towards climate change as well, because these are all the big issues for the G20.
Oh yeah.
Climate change. It's been You would think it would be easy to negotiate, but it's not, because there are those who are against what their counterparts are saying. Where does Germany stand with stopping climate change?
Well, actually, on this one, we have a very close cooperation between South Africa as the G20 presidency and as an important country on the African continent, and Germany as well, and the European Union, of which Germany, of course, is a member. So we work very closely in the fight against climate change. And this year, the thing is, we're going to have the G20 summit here in Johannesburg. And almost at the same time, we're going to have the climate summit in Belém in Brazil. So obviously, we would like to try to connect these events, creating a pathway towards ambitious climate goals. There are some countries currently, and important countries for that matter, who are currently a bit reluctant to support our joint fight against climate change. I think it puts more burden and more responsibility on those of us who really see the necessity to move forward. And there, I think it's not only about negotiating climate goals, but it's really about helping each other, assisting each other to do concrete steps. Like, for instance, this what we call energy transition. I think in South Africa it's called a just energy transition.
Correct, that's right.
We have a similar process in Germany. We have been on it now for over 20 years. Still working on it. Still a controversial thing. I know it's not uncontroversial here in South Africa. But the thing is, and that is, I mean, if you have a partnership between countries, that you try to help each other on these very important issues. So we have a cooperation between South Africa and Germany, South Africa and the European Union on this just energy transition. And Germany actually has invested now over 50 billion rand into this cooperation. We have just signed a new agreement. We call it a policy-based loan, over 10 billion rand between South Africa and Germany, where we invest money to support the aims of this just energy transition. And of course, as we move down the road, it's a long road, it's gradual, you cannot take it, it's a long way to get out of coal.
But just getting into that, I mean,
yeah.
A lot of people would say, has it worked? Now, I took a trip through your beautiful country about a year ago, and I saw lots of wind turbines, I saw lots of renewable energy.
Yes.
Does it work? What is the bottom line? Can you carry a country on renewable energy?
Well, I think you can. Of course, you need to take a couple of precautions. So our electricity supply, like 4 years ago, was at 45% renewables. Now, of course, there was the Russian aggression against Ukraine, the cut of Russian gas deliveries to Germany. We, for a couple of months, had to buy more coal from South Africa. Imagine that. But now we are down again, and I think now we are at 65% renewables in the energy mix in Germany. So, of course, you need to take care of the base load. But if you organize it the right way, because wind you're going to also have at night, sun is during the day, you can have biomass, you can have other sources of renewable energy. So if you mix it properly and then make a couple of technical adaptations to the net, you can come a very long way using renewables. Actually, it's an experience we've made, and there are some of these regional networks which use a lot of renewables. Sometimes they're even more stable than the regional networks using more of coal.
Gosh, that is so interesting. It is so very.
So we are trying to share that experience as well with our counterparts here. It's a technical question, but I think here again we can learn a lot from each other.
Well, also as well, if you think about Europe and your climates, you have a lot of cloud cover. We have sunny South Africa, so we can only but benefit.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, we are talking about 65% renewables in the energy mix in the electricity mix in Germany, And you know, you have been to Germany. I mean, it's cloudy most of the time, dark winter days and stuff. Whereas here you have sun, wind in abundance. So the conditions are much better actually than in Central Europe to go down that road. But of course, it needs to be managed carefully. It needs to be a gradual process, and we also, I think, need to take care of the social aspects of it.
Yeah.
Because I think in Germany, as in South Africa, it has huge effects on jobs, on people depending on those jobs, on the miners and stuff. So I think what we are doing in Germany massively is to try to retrain miners, the children of miners, to provide other opportunities, job opportunities. So it's also an area where we try to share experiences with our counterparts here.
Right, we've spoken about war, we spoke about climate, and what would you like to see, though, from the G20 come November? What are your main points?
Well, actually, just for the record, I mean, the priorities of the South African presidency are solidarity, equality, and sustainability. So it's an approach which we wholeheartedly support as a German government. And we want to, help that this South African presidency, based on these priorities, becomes really becomes a big success. One of the issues South Africa prioritizes is cost of capital. I think this is an important thing. Of course, you cannot solve it during one presidency. The Brazilians worked on it, now the South Africans. We're going to see what we can do next year when the presidency moves to the US. But I think this is there we would like to see progress. And then there's one thing where within the G20 where South Africa and Germany took a leading role. It is called the Compact with Africa. This is an initiative that was set up in 2017. That was during the German G20 presidency. And the gist of it is to mobilize private investment into the African continent or in countries of the African continent which embark on a process of progressive economic policies and economic reform. So this is co-chaired by South Africa and Germany. And, now that the presidency is here, I mean, it's a wonderful moment, really, to give it a big push. So we had a very nice event co-chaired by our finance ministers recently in Durban. And we would like, actually, around the summit to organize something to really take this compact with Africa forward and to give it a big impetus.
Well, Business Day TV will be at the summit. We'll be covering it and we'll be taking a close look at exactly what you just said. Thank you so much, Ambassador. Good to have you on Business Day TV.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Many thanks to the German Ambassador, Andreas Pescke. Appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today. The wars in Gaza and Ukraine, along with climate change and finance and other issues, will continue to take center stage right up in the run-up to the G20. So keep watching the road to G20, where we bring you the latest developments. You can also follow us on our social media as well. It's just a few months to go before world leaders get together in Sandton, and there are many issues that need to be discussed. Until next time.